Hi, welcome to my channel. I thought I'd do a video on Irish girl names inspired by nature. These are traditional Irish names and represent typical nature elements like earth, fire, water, and air. Some of the names are very pretty, some more edgy, some are very popular, some a little bit more rare, so a good mix. I did the boy version before, Irish boy names inspired by nature, so I will put the link for that in the description box below if you want to check it out. If you like this kind of thing, please give this video a like, subscribe for more, and let's get started. First up is Fiadh, which means wild, or it can also mean deer. It's pronounced Fiadh, Fiadh, and it comes from the Irish word for wildlife, which is Fiadh. This is currently the most popular baby name in Ireland. I don't know any Fiadhs my age, but I know a ton of little girl and baby Fiadhs, and I love the name. I think it's so cute. This name wasn't really popular in the 20th century, but in the early 2000s it started being used a lot. But the popular way of spelling it was F-I-A. And then from 2010 on, the spelling changed to add a DH, F-I-A-D-H, and that is currently the most popular way of spelling it. Fiadh. Next up is Róisín, which means little rose. It's pronounced Róisín, Róisín, and it's spelt with two fadas. Fadas are accents over vowels, which changes the way they sound. So it's R-O fada I-S-I fada N. The name first became popular in around the 16th century. I love this name, not only because it's really pretty, but it has great roots in Irish history. In around the 16th century, Irish patriotic songs or poems were banned because any love for your country wasn't allowed. So someone wrote a song about their love for Ireland and they couldn't use the word Ireland, so they disguised it as a woman's name, Róisín Dubh, which means little black rose. And so Róisín Dubh became a metaphor or nickname for Ireland at a time when being patriotic was not allowed. And Róisín Dubh, the song, it's still an important political song in Ireland today. It's still covered by and inspiring modern artists like Sinead O'Connor and Thin Lizzy. So Róisín is a great name with great roots in history. Next up is Aideen, which means little fire. It's pronounced Aideen, Aideen. It's the girl version of the Irish boy name Aideen. Aideen is hugely popular in Ireland today. Aideen is popular, not as popular as Aideen, and it's derived from the Irish word for fire, which is A. The spelling is usually A-I-D-E-E-N, but traditionally it would have been spelled E fada A, D-A-O-I fada N. I think I got that right. The fadas, technically you need them for the correct pronunciation of an Irish name, but these days a lot of people just leave off the fadas, and we all kind of know how to pronounce it, and if we don't, they'll just tell us how to pronounce it. My husband actually this morning just had an issue with fadas. He was dealing with this guy Dahi for a work project, and Dahi is an Irish name that has a fada over the second I usually, but this Dahi kept signing off his emails without the fada over the second I. So my husband had to ask him, he needed the correct spelling, so he just said, by the way, the fada, do you use it? And the guy seemed very offended, and he was like, of course there's a fada, it's Dahi, the Irish name. But he hadn't been using it, so it can be confusing and you can never assume. Oh, and there was another scandal in Ireland recently with fadas. Basically, the COVID certs that were given out for travel, a lot of them had wrongly used fadas or missing fadas, so the names didn't match up with the passports and people couldn't travel, and it was this huge disaster, and 17,000 COVID certs had to be reissued with the correct use of the fadas. So it's a big deal. Fadas getting it right. Next up is a similar but slightly different one. It's Edana. It's also derived from Aideen and means fire or flame. It's pronounced Edana, Edana, or Aidana, Aidana. Another similar but slightly different one again is Aedamnair, also meaning fire. It's pronounced Aedamnair, Aedamnair, or Aedamnair. Aedamnair. It's usually spelled A-E-D-A-M-N-A-I-R. I think I got that right. Or you can leave the N off and it becomes Aedamair, and pronounced Aedamair, Aedamair, or Aedamair, Aedamair. And this one is probably more common in Ireland today. Next up is Cori, which means from the hollow. It's pronounced Cor-E, Cori. And it comes from the Irish word cora, which translates to deep mountain hollow or pit or cauldron. I know Cori in the US is a well-known male name, but the Irish Cori is gender neutral. It can be both for male and female. And this one isn't very popular. It's a little bit more unique, a little bit more rare, and it's spelled C-O-R-I. Next up is Réaltín, which means little star. It's spelled R-E-F-A-L-T-I-N, and it's pronounced Réaltín. Réaltín. There are different dialects around Ireland. There's 4 different provinces, and names tend to be pronounced differently in each province. I'm in Leinster, so this is how I'm pronouncing these names, but somewhere else in Ireland, someone might say Réaltín. Réaltín. Réalta is star in Irish, and Een signifies littleness, so Réaltín is little star. It can also be spelled R-E-F-A-I-L-T-I-N, and pronounced the same, Réaltín. Or another version is R-E-F-A-L-T-A-N, which would slightly change the pronunciation to Réaltán. Réaltán, also meaning little star. Next up is Éabha, which means life or a gift of life, and is pronounced Éabha. Éabha, like the English name Ava, but it's not the Irish version of the English name Ava. That means bird. It's actually the Irish of the English name Eve, which means life. It's spelled E-Fada-A-B-H-A, and again, some people just leave off the Fada. It can also be spelled A-O-I-B-H-E. And this name in particular, as I said, there's different provinces and names tend to be pronounced differently depending on where in Ireland you are. And I was researching this name and there were so many debates online about exactly what's the correct way to pronounce it. Some people saying Eva, some people saying Ava, some people saying Ava. One person saying they're right because they named their child this. They're right because they're an Irish teacher. They're right because they're from the Gaeltacht. But the truth is, names just tend to be pronounced differently depending on where in Ireland you are. So everyone's right. Next up is Gráinne, which is a very well-known Old Irish historical name. It's pronounced Gráinne, Gráinne, and it's traditionally spelled G-R-A-I-N-N-E. And the origins of this name are not certain because it's such an old Irish name, but it's thought it could either mean grain or sun. The Irish word for grain is grán, and the Irish word for sun is grian, so it could be derived from either of those. They both mean nature, so both of them work for this video. The next one is Flidais, and this one isn't a direct meaning of a nature word, but Flidais was the goddess of nature, or cattle and wild things, and it's pronounced Flidais. Flidais. It's spelled F-L-I-D-A-I-S, but a more modern way of spelling it is F-L-I-A-D-H-A-I-S. This one is a bit more rare, a bit more unique. I personally don't know any Flidaises, but I love the name. I think it's such a pretty name, Flidais. Next up is Mealla, which means lightning. It can also mean sweetness if the word is derived from the Irish word for honey, mill. That's debatable, but lightning or honey, they're both naturey, so again, both work for this video. It's pronounced Mealla, Mealla, and it's traditionally spelled M-E-A-L-L-A, but in more modern times some people leave off the A, so it's just M-E-L-L-A. And this name has deep historical roots in Ireland and was often given to holy women. The next one is Bláithín, which means little flower. It's pronounced Bláithín, Bláithín, and it's spelled B-L-A-F-A-I-T-H-I-F-A-N. It comes from the Irish word for flower, which is blá. There's also Bláthnaid, pronounced Bláthnaid, Bláthnaid, which means flower, and it's spelled B-L-A-F-A-T-H-N-I-N-A-I-D. I hope I'm not messing up all the spellings of these names. I'll have it here somewhere anyway, so just in case I get it wrong. But and both of these names are very popular in Ireland today. I know a lot of Blánaids and a lot of Bláithíns. Next up is Éabha, which can either mean kernel of a nut or seed, or fiery. It's usually pronounced En-ya, Enya, but it can also be pronounced Eithne, Eithne, or Eithne, Eithne, or Eithne, Eithne. As I said, there are a lot of different pronunciations that differ depending on where in Ireland you are, and it's usually spelled E-I-T-H-N-E. And Éabha is a very old traditional Irish name, and there have been at least 9 Saint Éabhas. The next one is Banbha, which means unplowed land. It's pronounced Banbha, Banbha, and it's spelled B-A-N-B-H-A. And Banbha is also the goddess of the spirit of Ireland. She was one of the members of Tuatha De Danann, who were an ancient tribe of mythological gods and goddesses in Ireland thousands of years ago. So Banbha, a great name with deep historical and mythological roots in Ireland. And that's it. That is my list of Irish girl names inspired by nature. If there are any other name lists you want to see or any other video requests, please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye!